like you said, body language and range of emotions, as y'all talk and think.
Hey.
This is not hot with this moment.
Hi guys, I'm Shaina with the Dentonite. We're obviously here in rubber gloves with Josh Baish. This didn't go as we had planned.
That's like huge, yeah. Sorry. So how are you, Shaina?
I've been pretty good. How about yourself? What have you been up to?
Well, a little this, a little that.
Yeah. Well, tell me, and I guess everybody, for a lot of people who might not know, about your history with Denton before gloves. You came here in, what, 92, 93?
93.
So, what was all going on in the scene?
Oh.
What were you involved in?
I was a college kid at University of North Texas. I like fruit flies.
So, well, what about the community here? We got this train, guys. I'm real sorry.
It's a rubber gloves.
Yeah, I know it is. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? It's a rubber gloves. There's trains that go by. Hey, welcome to Rubber Gloves. There's trains. We can do absolutely nothing about it.
I do like this.
And there's one on either side now.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you early Dentonites. I don't even know. Listen to me. Listen to me. Okay. With all due respect, I'm sorry. But there used to only be one track. Now there's two. And that's a fake horn. At least that's a real horn. That manufactured horn. You don't know what I'm talking about. Spend enough time here. You can't. We're closed.
The actual real train you can hear all throughout the night over at my house. But
It's a loud
you can't
train.
hear the DCTA. I like it. It's comforting.
You like what? The train?
The sound of the train.
As long as it's
far
real,
away.
a manufactured train whistle, it sounds like shit. Nobody wants to hear that.
I agree. Well, now that the train has gone by.
There'll be another one.
Okay, so you were in college here. Obviously, the Argo closed. There's all these different things going on with the scene. But what about the community, the culture, made you want to really invest your time, your life, your money, everything here?
I moved here from University of Tennessee when I was 19 years old. A girl that I grew up with, I was visiting her, and she said, well, you gotta come see this band. They're playing on Fry Street, and da 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 da. And I was coming from, I'm just gonna have some of your gold.
That's good.
You gotta come see this band, and I was like, okay. It was my first night in Denton, and it was great. I mean, it was Tripping Daisy, and it was just right before like Bill, the album Bill, had just come out, and coming from Knoxville, it was just like something completely new, and it was just amazing. And then I ended up working at Rick's then I moved here, and then ended up working at Rick's for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. No, 3 or 4 years maybe, whatever it was. But it ended up working there. Then I worked at the X, which is now Apartments on Fry Street. But it was a record store that, I mean, yeah, I think it's Mike Wiebe, Rebel Gamblers, John Freeman, Denton creative genius alumni, brilliant guy. Robin Phillips is now doing A&G. Trinidad, who's the drummer in Dixie Witch, he was the part owner. He was my boss at least. Will Johnson. But it's all Apartments now. But that was the X Records, and then around that time, my grandparents passed away, and I was done at Rick's, and I wanted to get out of there at least. And Brett Best invited me to a show here, and it was before the bar was in, and that was just, I feel like people know, I'm like repeating myself?
I mean,
am I giving the long version?
no, you're good.
Anyway, yeah, so I came here, I was getting off working at Rick's. I was still working at the X. And then I approached Jason in memory. I happened to inherit some money when my grandparents passed away. And I approached Jason in memory. I was like, look, I've been a bartender here. The Argo had shut down. And that was it. And then so I bought with that, which I would recommend to absolutely nobody. I bought a rock club.
But what was it specifically, I would say, about her, about this community, or about the people, or whatever? What was it that made you say this is the place?
Denton?
Yeah, this is where I'm going to do this. This is why I'm going to do this.
Because it's. I mean, I haven't lived a lot of places. El Paso, Knoxville, and Denton. But I'm not a musician, but I love music, and coming to Denton was just like, I mean, it floored me. It absolutely floored me. And it was just so, you have to understand, this is on Fry Street, and you just walked onto Fry Street, and it was like a fucking movie set. It didn't even look real. And then it just sounds like magical, like a little fucking fairy tale. But I didn't have a car then, or I didn't have a working car. I would walk and work my shift at the X, and sometimes I'd close up there and I'd go to my shift bartending at Rick's. But I can think of, Chris fucking Clemens, he and Steve Hill, just playing on the street. And I mean, it's just, Will Johnson, there's these bands that I was just such a fan of, and they were my friends and neighbors, and I'd go to Best House in the morning, and we'd go get a picture or whatever, and just, it's just, I was such a fan, and I'm still such a fanboy, and I'm such a fanboy of this town, or at least what it was. Sorry.
Well, that's something I wanted to ask about. Having grown up here in late 80s, early 90s, I mean, I have a little bit of a different perspective.
Oh, do you, Shaina? Please share.
No,
please share.
Shut up, you know what I mean. So, while I was around Fry Street all the time, because we lived literally around the corner from there, and my dad was there, I didn't see it through the eyes of an adult. And so, what are some of the major differences?
An adult, I mean, I was 23, 24 years old.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess I was an adult. I've been living a suspended adolescence until 42, please.
I think that's a lot of this town there, too.
Well, don't leave Denton. Or wait, no, now you have to actually get jobs that make money.
Yeah, yes, true story. So what
And
are
it's not in the live music venue business. Or maybe it is, I don't know. Who the hell knows? What do I know? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. So what are the major differences you've seen between the culture, the community, the scene in the 90s versus what we're experiencing now?
It's been pushed aside. Before it was organic. And there was no interest. I mean, nobody was thinking about making fucking money. And I moved here at a time when, like, labels were buying. I was bartending on a regular basis for I mean, like the Toadies or Deep Blue something, or these people that had at the time, it was like MTV was a fucking thing, and these were like fucking radio hits, and they were on the billboard, and it was just crazy, right? It was just, but even then, right? There was all these bands, were being snatched up. Tripping Daisy guys, but even then, it doesn't have the feel that it does now. Because then, when it was like all, this shit's on MTV and blah, blah, blah. And I remember the Goo Goo Dolls, Max, what's his name? Was a drummer for, Thank you. And he wore, Mike. No, is it Mike? And he wore the Brutal Juice shirt. Was it the Brutal Juice shirt he wore on, like, MTV? And he's the drummer of Goo Goo Dolls? And it was just like, but you have to understand, this is another place in time when MTV actually played music. I mean, we're like talking about, like, nobody cares about this shit anymore. Anyway, you have to understand that now what's happening is from that. That's when I got involved. That's when I was 19, right? And then I committed myself to it, and here I am at 42. But now what you're seeing is the shit's not organic. It's like, oh, Denton music next to Austin, Austin and whatever, and we've seen what's happened to fucking Austin. But it's just kind of like, Brent Best said it best, sorry, carpetbaggers. And it's like, and that's fine. If you want to come in and da-da-da, but it just seems like it's just like this, there's no fucking, you're standing on the, I'm standing on the shoulders of people. But coming here, I understood that. And it was integrated, because I didn't have any fucking money. You know, I looked out and was lucky enough to have this place. But now it just seems like it's just, you're sold the idea of a scene without any fucking music. I mean, not to say that there's not bands going on, and there is, absolutely, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But it's changed, and you see people who want to be on the crest of the wave of that new change with what seems to be no regard for what fucking came before. But I think that society, and now I'm getting at that a lot, but I think that's just what we're seeing in society in general, and we're all screwed. I mean, what are we going to say? I don't know. It just seems that it's, I mean, what am I going to say? Damn fruit close. I don't, and I'm not being pessimistic, yes I am. Or whatever, but I've earned the right to be that way. I'm the old man with the old balls who's complaining about the way things used to be. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. And I hope that people, that's the thing, I hope that people, there's no edge to this. There's no bite. There's no there's no rawness. There's no realness. There's no grit. There's no dirt. There's no, you know, and Peter Salisbury and Aaron and Dan Mojica and the people that are still here carrying on the good fight, and I'm not being I wish that, what am I going to wish? It'd be nice to see things evolve, because you can't stop change, absolutely not. But it'd be nice, and here I go, I'm going to go on my millennial shit. It's the millennial shit. It's this, thank you, now we're here. Okay. Garrett, my little buddy Garrett, he was here, pat him on the head. He's a millennial, and he's a history, he graduated with, and we talk about this all the time, and you see it, I mean, the world is changing and I'm old. What am I going to say? The world is changing and I'm old. I have fun. But my piece of advice is just, you know, learn your history if you care about it. I mean, and you should. If you're going to go around talking about Denton, music, blah, 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 learn your fucking history. I mean, I think that applies to anything in life. It just doesn't seem like, it's not me. It's not just me. It's a lot of fucking people. It's sad. But what are you going to do? Change. What is it? Spinning goldfish. Fear the future. That was on a Mickey Mouse cartoon my daughters and I were watching. And Peg Leg Pete comes up behind him and he honks the horn. And the horn goes, no, not fear the future. Make way for the future. All right. To the future. I love you, Denton. Just not right now so much.
I feel that. I think I've definitely seen it go in cycles, probably not anything like what we're experiencing, or what we've seen happen, I guess, with the changes in the last year, just with the different venues, not just clubs, but you mentioned some of the people that are still here, you know, Dan,
sure,
being one of them.
There's lots of people that are still there.
Well, that's what I was wanting to ask, as far as who are some of your favorite artists, musicians, mentors here, who've inspired you, or over the years.
It's the
and
people
still-
who have stuck it up. I mean, Jimmy Smith and I are notoriously at odds with each other, but I got to give Jimmy all the respect in the world. Jimmy was there from the beginning. Brent Best, one of my closest friends. Who's the one, you know, who brought me, showed me here. He's bartending. I mean, Kate, his wife, who's probably the sweetest person you're going to meet. Dan Mojica. I mean, if you're gonna go on about people who deserve recognition. Michael Briggs. Are you kidding me? I mean, there's a lot. I can't even begin. I'm leaving. So I couldn't even begin. But the people who are sticking it out, you know. There's a tremendous amount. I don't want it to seem like being a nihilist about it or anything. She's brave combo. I mean, what are you gonna say? It's gonna find a way. I'm not saying it's not, and I'm not arrogant enough to think that this is, you know, rubber gloves or even, you know, J&Js or those. There's huge fucking blows. I don't know. What am I gonna say? But there's a tremendous amount of people who have put in the work that are still here, and it's not like I'm trying to torch the place on my way out. I mean, these people absolutely deserve the recognition. My fear is that they're still not going to get the recognition. You know, I mean, Paul Slavin's been around since, jeez. I had to look at Paul Slavin's, and I love you, Paul, ugly mug with the hand. He had the promo photo. It was the hand, and the hands come in like this. I'm driving home the other night, and I tune in, and he's doing his thing on it's KNON, isn't it? KXT? Which one is it? I don't know. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Paul.
Sorry, Paul. He doesn't care. It's
You
you
don't
know.
care. Yeah,
But I was flipping through the station, and that's great. Aaron and Peter doing the radio station is huge.
that's awesome.
These people are still here. And there's a lot of people, but you're fooling yourself if you think that, I mean, it's been, I don't know. There's this upswing with, you know, bringing Parker and Garrett in, and Rubber Gloves, we went out on our best, I mean, it was finally gelling. It was like the old meets the new, at least in what I can control to an extent. And it was gelling, and it was, and then it kind of stopped. Well, I mean, it didn't kind of stop, it did stop. But, I mean, they're going to find a way. Jesus, what? They're kids. I'm not saying that, but it's rock and roll belongs to the youth, or whatever. And there's some people here who are a hell of a lot younger than I am that know, and they're musicians, and they're mind-blowingly talented. It's just, what is the city that this is all fucking built? Like, what is it going to do to foster? And you can't, I don't know, they're like rats or cockroaches. You find your fucking way. It's gonna find a way. Regardless of what comes next, you know? I don't know. I don't have the answers.
Well, what's the most valuable lesson you have learned in your time here at Gloves?
I don't know. Oh God, I don't know. Don't open a rock club. Don't do it if you. I don't regret a day of it. Absolutely not. But don't do it unless you have consultants and financial back, or whatever it takes to like make it in the city now. Unless you have that, yeah, fuck yeah, play with somebody else's money. What do you care? But don't do it if you're doing it out of love. You don't have whatever it takes to make it in the city now. And you do it. You can't. How the hell can you? You're gonna be doing house shows, or I mean, I hope to God Dan's last, but you know, I'll love Dan Mojica with my entire heart. And if anybody's gonna build a statue to anybody in this town, I nominate Dan Mojica. Who knows what's going to happen? I have no idea. I put in my time. It's like I'm clocking out right now.
Well,
I've had fun.
that's my next question. What does the future hold for you and for gloves?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
So stay tuned.
Huh?
So stay tuned.
If you want to. I mean, it's just, and I mean, how much time do we have?
Fine.
And I made the analogy to you all earlier. It's like, you know, when you're closing and, you know, everybody gets, oh, you get attention and, oh, the place is closing, and you see the people who, you know, who've never been here showing up and whatever it is, you know, or taking, you know, the taking, like, oh, look, you know, how can I don't, whatever that is. Anyway, and a lot of that, I got excited because a lot of people, and I'm sure they have the best intentions and whatnot, or I think some people just want to attach themselves to whatever they think. Someone described it as the coolness factor. The rubber gloves coolness. And I'm not saying this is I'm fucking cool or whatever, but I'm sorry I even brought that up. That sounded really stupid.
No.
But it was brought up to me. Like, and it's like, okay, yeah, right, okay, that's fine. But it's, and I think people have a lot of good intentions, but you see it and they just, it kind of falls away, you know, or they don't follow through. And I made the analogy earlier about it's like going on a date and you get excited for the person to call, and then you think about the future and they don't call, and then you see them out and you're like, why didn't you call? That actually happened. It's happened to you too? Yeah, so it's like, I have no income. I own this place, I own it all. But it's like, what is it worth? The property is worth, you know, a good deal more than I paid for it 19 years ago. So there's that. I'm not, you know, again, I mean, I'm incredibly fortunate. I'm incredibly lucky. And I mean, to be able to do this for 19 years, are you kidding me? Maybe later I'll regret it, but I don't think so. That's out of my hands now, you know, it's like, when I talked about the youth, I got off track. What was the thing? Oh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? I don't know. If anybody wants to invest in a bar and not change it, and that's the thing. I couldn't continue it unless it was what it is. And to ask somebody to put in a lot of money, but to have me be as stubborn as I fucking am on the thing. And I don't think it's stubborn. It's just like, it's not worth it to me. It's not worth it to me to go, oh, okay, and then let somebody else do whatever. And the people who have the best intentions, they still have to make a dollar. It's still an investment. They have to make their money. And it's bridging that type of thing. Not to mention the fact that, I mean, I got my daughters. It's my daughter, you know. And last month I lost my phone. I didn't deal with this place at all, really, aside from coming in and, you know, whatever. But it was just like, I've got other shit going on in my life. And trying to balance the two, it was just like, it was too much. It's too much. That's my own personal shit. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. What's going to happen? I don't know. I don't know, Shaina.
Well,
Here,
so,
have a goldfish.
Thank you.
Would y'all like a goldfish?
They are space-themed goldfish.
I'm not going to touch your goldfish. Were these your daughter's goldfish?
They are. So I guess the last question then is, what is your hope for the Denton music scene, the future of it?
What is my hope?
It's a tricky word.
I don't know if I have any hopes. What do I hope? Okay, I'll put it in this context. What if I were to come back here like 10 years later? I'm like, I'm gonna go see Denton. Haven't been there, whatever, right? What would I like to see? I like to see something genuine. Because you know when you see it. You know what bullshit is and you know what's not. Bless you. And here's where you know, if there's credit to this place is to be that it was like, I was smart enough to know that, hands off, anybody do your shit. I don't care. Because I'm not going to try to control it. It just seems like now it's just so, because it's been bought and sold. It's been bought and sold. There's no way else to put it. And it was exciting. I remember picking up my grandpa at fucking the airport. And there was like a Denton, they had just put it out. It was like a Denton, like a, come to Denton or whatever, like a tourist promotional thing. And they were talking about the live music in Denton, and Rubber Gloves was written out. And I was like, hey, Grandpa, look at this. My grandpa, whatever. But I remember just, there was that, it's like a wave. Here's my hippie drippy shit. But you struggled for so long to get any sort of recognition. Not for yourself or whatever, but just for Denton music, or just like, and then it starts to happen, and you can kind of see it from, and then, it's just like da-da-da, and then the newspaper articles, and you get whatever. But then the tides, or whatever, this is a terrible analogy. But it goes back out, but then what it comes back in is these people who are like, whoa! Because everybody loves rock and roll because rock and roll makes you cool, right? Or everybody loves music and everybody wants to be a part of that or attach themselves to it. Because there's nothing cooler than rock and roll, American or whatever. And live music. Even the lamest person in the world, there's nothing that encompasses that more than live music. So you see people who have money, and they're doing it for whatever, but they're attaching themselves to it without being a part of the process that gave, gave life to that. And that's what I think you're really seeing now, and is really going to get a hell of a lot worse. But you want to know what? Tablet? Did you think? Anyone has a living room, you can put on Chris Lemons and Steve Hill, who I still consider the best drummer in Denton. I love you, Steve Hill. That guy's amazing. You can play anywhere. Shit, go out on the street. But don't buy into something that's being sold to you before you've even become a part of it. It doesn't make sense. It's a lifestyle thing. It's more than it's like a music almost. Not almost. That's exactly what it is. Name me some fucking bands right now. And I'm not talking. I mean, there's music going, but I'm just talking about that. There just seems like there's this cloud among the music. Like there's not like this, but there's still the people. I mean, Rob. Michael Briggs. I'm going to go back to Michael Briggs, The house show scene has always been going on. I don't know the crackdown, what's going on. I haven't been to a house show. I haven't been out since the last shows at the club. I haven't been out at all. Like, I have no idea, and here I am talking about, like, what's going on. I don't know, because I haven't been out. But even driving in this town, this may just be my personal, it just feels like there's just this void. But I'm sure that it has to be completely, there's no way I could look at that objectively and be like, because I mean, personally, there's a huge void. But more so, it's just, when you see it, J&J's closing, I mean, it's just like,
I think a lot of people are feeling what you're saying.
How can they not? I don't know. Yay!
Train again.
That's the fake fucking whistle.
Yeah.
Listen to that shit. That's recorded. The real train That's somebody. What a great. Are we like closing? Is this it?
Man, yeah, actually, this was, unless
What
you
a-
have anything else you want to talk about.
There's the fake whistle,
Yeah.
but I long for the real whistle.
That's it.
No, that was stupid, but I got nothing. The genuine, the real is always going to be better than the manufactured. And try as you might, nobody owns music. Nobody owns art. This is not like trying to encourage and, I'm sorry, the ASCAP, fuck ASCAP and fuck all that shit and do your research and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Because it's all horse shit and you're dealing with mafia. They're the mob, this legal mafia, but I'm not going to get on that. But everybody wants to own it. But we're only here for a short period of time, and those ideas came before. So go out and do your shit and live your life and be young and whatever. I don't know. Have fun, I don't know. I wish the best for Denton. I don't like you very much right now, but man, I hope I go away for 10 years and then come back and just like, holy shit, oh my god. But who are we fooling? That's not gonna happen. You seen the apartments behind Rubber Gloves? Where the Good Bad Art Collective used to be. That's how awesome this town was. Nobody came over these tracks. Nobody. But Good Bad was here. And Rubber Gloves was, I mean, you could throw a stone. And the creativity, that's what it was. You ask, here's how we're going to type. The creativity that drew me to this place, or Denton in general, was that. It was that spirit. And it was alive and well in droves. And it's been realized, it's been bottled and sold, and we're sitting in the processing plant right now. I don't know. Goldfish?
Well, any other closing remarks?
No, I got nothing.
Well, I really appreciate you looking up and letting us come hang out for a bit.
Sure, thanks for coming.
So, next week, tune in next Tuesday at 8, we will be talking to Matt from Utopia.
And I'm going to be interviewing him, right?
Oh, yeah. Matt, you don't know this, but Baish is...
Like Matt is watching, right?
But he might be.
He might be.
Baish is going to interview you next week, Matt, if that's okay. So,
If that's okay. What's he going to say?
he's going to say yes.
If he says no, what are you going to do? Are you going to drop me as the interviewer? What is more important, me as the interviewer of Matt Battaglia? Or Matt Battaglia calling his people and saying, hey, no. His agent pulling him from the
He
interview.
doesn't have an agent.
Oh, I highly doubt that. Oh, Kilby just got sold to some company, right? Did that not happen?
No.
It didn't?
I don't know.
Somebody just bought into it.
I was going to ask, does anybody have any questions? Have we had any questions, Sarah? No?
No.
Okay.
Garrett
All
Phelps has nothing to ask me right now.
Garrett?
No, he's not. I don't see him logged in.
Is
Okay.
anybody logged in? Is
Yeah, I
any-
can't see how many, but we have Michael Seaman, Brian
Michael?
Loving,
Hey.
Who?
Tiffany, a couple people, a couple people.
Mike Seaman and who else?
Brian Levings, Brooke Dunning, Tiffany Youngblood, Miss Bossy.
Miss Bossy?
Yeah.
Who the hell is that?
She's a rapper in Denton, female
Oh,
rapper.
okay.
She's really amazing.
I just thought she was like really bossy.
There's like a whole bunch of people up there. I can't see all of the people.
Who would I know?
But anyway.
Which one of my friends besides Michael Seaman?
We can tell you after.
Mm-hmm.
You guys tell me who else?
After. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. Baish, thanks for having us. And we'll see y'all next week.